Hello and welcome to Stories of the Uncharted Territories.
Yes, we've got to... I love this sort of Doppler effect that you're putting in there.
I was going for theremin, but fair enough.
You know, that was the first musical instrument in space.
No? Was it a theremin?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Like, apparently whoever it was, whichever astronaut... You know how sometimes astronauts are allowed to bring, 119 grams of personal whatever into space? And I believe, there was there was an Italian woman who went to the ISS a while back, an astronaut whose name I forget, and she brought camera equipment and an espresso machine.
Oh, nice. But hang on, how does an espresso machine work with no gravity? I mean, that's going to make it tricky to get the drips to run out. Because I know they're notoriously difficult about water
They're pressurized.
Right. But
it's espresso, press.
Then I suppose you're going to have a hose attached to the basket.
Space, everything's hoses.
I know, very true.
You know, that's one of the many flights of fancy that we see in science fiction, like Farscape. The idea that you could go into space and it wouldn't just be just nipples to nuts hoses.
Yeah, like the part of Moya we don't talk about.
Yes, exactly. Which I have no idea where that's going to come up, because we're back in exploring the uncharted territories of, So, as we announced at the end of last episode, we're doing something a little bit special, a little bit sneaky, so nobody tell the Henson Company, all right?
Because in my hands, I have here the Farscape, the official magazine. Get candid with Claudia Black and Rockney S. O'Bannon on creating Farscape. New episodes revealed, new Farscape action. Free giant poster.
Which is still in there, which apparently makes this quite a precious thing to some collectors.
Good. I'll make sure to take good care of it. It was number 1, episode 1, sold in the US for $5.99. And do you know if there's ever an issue 2 produced?
I guess we'll find out, won't we? But that's still a little bit in the future. So here we are with the wonderful thing about this magazine is that it contains fanfic. It contains a Farscape story by Keith R.A. Salvatore.
Oh, yes. Hello. This is Kaki from the future here. Just because Kaki from the past is a sweet, kindly bumblebrain who means well, but he mixed up famed author Keith R.A. DeCandido, who wrote this story, and R.A. Salvatore, who did not. And so throughout this recording, I have continued to refer to the author as Mr. Salvatore, but that should be DeCandido. So I'll try and put a little bleep everywhere where I say his name wrong. It's definitely DeCandido. I am so sorry. Okay, back to the action.
Many a Mile to Freedom, it's called, and it's got a lovely picture of Chiana lying on her side, kind of mysteriously smiling at the camera.
Wait, hold on. I'm looking here at the top, and you see how it's got the sort of Farscape logo and it's been photoshopped, and it says Tales.
Yeah, Farscape Tales.
Oh, so it's Farscape Tales. Okay, I was worried that if you turned it upside down...
Tales, no.
Yeah, that it'd be Tales of the Uncharted Territories. No, it's still original... and looking in the background is something that I noticed from the DVDs as well.
Yeah.
They've got all this fun sort of alien-looking script. I wonder if that's Sinhala or Tamil.
It looks a bit like Thai to me. You know, everything is written on or under a line.
Yeah. That's how Thai characters are written. Interesting.
It's clearly inspired by it. I don't think it is.
Well, so Keith R.A. Salvatore,
DeCandido,
who's famous for the Star Trek novels that he's written. He's written over 200 novels.
He's a productive writer then.
Very much so. He's often contracted to do novelizations of films, which in one case, I forget the film in question. There's one I'd heard of, which he had to deliver in 2.5 weeks.
That's some serious writing.
Yeah, right.
But I guess he's one of those writers who just sits down and works at it, and not like some people who shall not be mentioned.
Oh, yeah. You have a little catch in your throat there. There's a sort of Game of Throats on this episode, isn't it?
Who just sits around and waits for inspiration. There's a hilarious talk between him and I believe it is... what's the name of that horror writer again?
Stephen King?
I think Stephen King, yeah. And
Clive Barker, maybe?
No, it was Stephen King.
Okay.
And he basically asked him, don't you ever have writer's block or something? And he goes no. I wake up in the morning, I have my coffee, I sit down and I write. Writer's block is for amateurs. It's we just... and you can see George R. R. Martin just sitting there with his shocked expression going oh no.
I'm doing it all wrong.
Yes, man, no. Pisces is in Capricorn. I can't write today.
Okay. Well, okay. It's Keith R.A. Salvatore,
No, it isn't, Kaki. It's DeCandido.
whose story we're reading today. Yeah. I actually know that name because he didn't just write Star Trek novels. He also wrote one of the Farscape novels.
Oh.
There's only 4 of them, and I think they're all pre where we are at now. Oh, you know what? I say that, I don't know for sure. I think that Zan's on the cover of one of them. Like, that's a real sort of high watermark, or not a high watermark, but like a watershed.
Is Zan there or not? And then,
Exactly.
go with that. Cool. Yeah.
All right, Many a Mile to Freedom, and okay, so full disclosure, Kay is reading off the magazine, which is very small text printed on some very fun photos and a graphic design background.
Yes,
with some
it's white text on
choices.
on a black background, or dark background. It's not even black, but...
And I'm reading it off of a tablet with which I've taken photos of those pages so that we can both read. So this is going to be interesting. I don't fully know that I got the order of the pages right, so let's find out.
Yeah, here we go.
Prepare to starburst!
While stuffing a handful of worms into his lower mouth with his upper right arm, Xokgerg ran the hand of his lower left arm over a sensor. He spoke with his upper mouth. Let him in.
Is that how the upper mouth sounds? Are you
guess.
going to make a choice for the lower mouth?
I suppose that the lower mouth is for eating and the upper mouth is for talking. And if you do it the other way around, that's like a massive social faux pas.
Oh, yeah, or maybe just a little perverty
there we
thing
go,
that you do in private. All right.
A portion of the wall dissolved, and Msta Ars entered. Msta Ars was scanned as he approached. Xokgerg, this is going to be annoying with all these
No,
names.
it's going to be great.
Xokgerg turned 3 of his 6 eyes to his computer screen for the results. As expected, Msta Ars only carried the usual contraband. He was Xokgerg's most trusted lieutenant, but anyone who entered Xokgerg's presence was scanned.
Okay. Oh, great. This page is even worse. It's a purple background with... Okay.
Yeah.
Speak, so Eric said. Mr. Ars reached inside one of the folds of his skin. Ugh.
It's like an otter.
And pulled out a pouch. Okay, so he had a fold and a pouch that jangled with the sound of coins. Do otters have folds of skin that they store stuff in?
Okay, so otters have like a little, kind of like under their forearms, there's like kind of like a skin fold where they like to keep their favorite rock, and that's actually called an otter's pocket. So the expression "wet as an otter's pocket" actually has meaning.
Okay, I've never heard that expression before, but now I have. Is it like webbing that they sort of...
I guess it's just like
It's
you
just
know,
a
like,
pocket.
just like a flabby little fold of skin which they have there from being able to stretch out, and they like
So
to
you
keep
can go
their
to
favorite rock in there.
a marina and say that, oh, I like your otters. Thanks, they have pockets.
Yes.
I've just realised that Keith R.A. Salvatore,
Kaki, for Frell's sake, his name is Keith R.A. DeCandido.
the writer of this piece, actually requested a link to this when it's done. I don't imagine he's still listening. What do you think?
Well,
Okay, so out of that fold of skin, he pulls a pouch that jangle with the sound of coins. I have to taste receipts from the various gambling endeavours, Great Xokgerg, as well as the percentages from Sirp's last 3 robberies and the quarterly payoffs from Ministers Repnek and Natnubo.
Xokgerg took the pouch with his lower left arm. He emptied it into a small container next to the cushions on which he rested his corpulent form. Excellent. Keeping 2 eyes on the computer screen that tallied the amount of the coins, he fixed the other 4 stars. Anything else?
Yes, Great Xokgerg, there is. Do you remember a beacon that circulated about a cycle and a half ago or so regarding 3 fugitives that had escaped peacekeeper custody? Ooh, I know what that is.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
that's the one with the hunter dogs. What were their name? What's their name again?
Rorf and Rorg. They're
That's the
not
one.
difficult names.
No, but you know. All right. All 4 of Xokgerg's stomach rumbled in annoyance. Of course not. And Stars bowed. My apologies, Great Xokgerg. I simply did not wish to insult your magnificence by replaying the beacon, if you recall it. With your kind and benevolent permission, I will.
Mr. Ars, if you don't stop sucking up, I will have you flayed. You're giving me a headache.
Mr. Ars bowed. He retrieved the control form within the folds of his skin and pushed a button.
Okay, now there is a sort of enlarged bit of text. Do you think we're supposed to read that?
No,
Or-
I don't think so, because that doesn't
Okay.
seem to make sense.
Oh, yes, that's magazine style, where you have
Yes.
like a quote. Okay, yeah. The holographic image of a Sebastian in a peacekeeper captain's uniform appeared in the center of the room. Xokgerg chewed on some maggots as he watched. May I do this? May I please
Go
do
on,
this? 'Cause
go
I
on,
think
go on,
this
go
is-
on. Yes.
Attention. There are fugitives among you. Fugitives that can be worth a great deal to any of you. I am Captain Bailar Crace, and I am offering... I'm not doing Crace, hold on. I am Captain Bailar Crace... No. I am Captain Bailar Crace, and I am offering a substantial reward to anyone who can assist us in the recapture of these 3 escaped prisoners.
The image changed. That sounds a bit like your usual Zahn, but...
I was specifically trying to go for a Kiwi one instead of an Aussie one.
Okay.
But okay.
The image changed to male Luxon with general tattoos, quickly followed by images of Delvian woman and Hynerian male. The first is a Luxon male named Cadargo.
That's not new. That's not Kiwi.
Oh, no, sorry. The first is a
pencil.
Luxon male named Cadargo. The second, a Delvian female, is named Pauzotazan. The third is Hynerian, who styles himself Rigel the 16th. These 3 fugitives from Peacekeeper...
Turn it off, Dockirk said. Ours did so, and the image faded. I remember. No, I'm making them all sound the same. I remember. It's useless now. Captain Crace is also a fugitive.
True, but these here are all escaped prisoners. I think it's safe to say that the Peacekeepers will pay a handy sum for their return.
The computer finished tallying the coins and beeped a telltale alarm. Your tally is low, Sockgarrick said.
Okay, now I like this, because he kind of like reminds me of Badger from Firefly. The way
Yes! Yes, switching from sort of friendly to threatening,
Yes.
and then I bet he's got a little hat. At least
yeah,
2.
a little bowler, on one of his 2 heads, yes.
Why?
The ship was misinformed about one of the merchants he robbed. The take was smaller than expected. The truth of all this was verified independently, although we did remove one of Shep's claws for his gullibility.
Nodding his approval, Sockgarrick returned to the prior subject. Why should I care about peacekeepers? They have no say here. The peacekeeper had tried to sell their military... The peacekeepers had tried to sell their military services on Ithrahod once before, not realizing that Sockgarrick controlled all enterprises on the planet. They were sent packing, and Sockgarrick had made sure that the military had standing orders to fire on any peacekeeper vessel that came within...
Yeah, good luck on that one.
Ytrahodish space. Yeah. I just needed to...
No, I know. Mr. still held the control in his hand. He pushed a button. Another holographic image appeared, but this time it showed the inside of Sockgarrick's dungeon.
Inside the cell were a Hynerian and the Delvian from the wanted beacon. Sockgarrick smiled with both of his mouths. Ooh, then you know it's serious.
They were attempting to negotiate the purchase of some spare parts and herbs, Mastar said. Eret recognized them from the beacon and had them tallied.
Yeah.
Once she confirmed their identities, she informed me, and I had them taken into custody. The Delvian put up more of a fight than expected, actually, although she surrendered when we threatened the Hynerian.
You seem to have a little catch in your throat there, Mr. Ars. Everything's like you're stammering more than usual.
I need some lubrication.
Maybe you should lubricate one of your many, many throats. Who is Eret?
One of my newer people. She's only a runner.
Promote her.
Of course, great Coxer.
Tell General Ragnas to lift the ban on peacekeeper ships. Then send a message to the peacekeepers. Oh, good. He remembers his own edicts.
Yeah. Again, Mastars bowed. As the great Coxer commands, he straightened. Oh, one other thing. I'm afraid that Doktai has died.
Damn! Oh, sorry. Damn! Sockgarrick cried with both of his mouths. How? Sockgarrick rarely troubled himself with the well-being of his slaves, but Doktai was one of the better ones.
It seems she committed suicide, great Coxer.
Damn! He repeated, this time with only one mouth, consoling himself by drinking some Rastlak with the other. Let's see if I can do some at the same time. No.
Now you sound like Jewel.
Yes. She was the first slave to properly massage my boils. Yikes.
The neuters who guarded her have their eyes removed in a punishment for allowing this.
Jeepers.
That's harsh, man.
Insufficient. Have them killed.
It means we will have to castrate 2 more guards, great Coxer.
Yikes. Sockgarrick simply regarded Mr. Ars with all 6 eyes.
Another bow. Of course, great Coxer. Shall I put out a call for a new slave?
Yes. Leave me. Time for my nap.
The wall again melted, and Mastars left. Clockzark ran the hand of his lower left arm over a sensor. His cushions rearranged to a sleeping position, and a force field went up around his office.
That sounds so nice. Like your office sort of rearranged itself into a little
it's
sort
like
of
you know you should. We've
nap
been
parlor.
working with all this like working from home. You know you should keep a difference between your working space and your living space.
Still, though.
Well, to be honest, like Xoxer kind of like sounds to me like a bit of a hut at this point, and you know.
Yeah. I mean, he does seem to be well organized, but he's
Right.
also unnecessarily
Cruel, vicious, yes.
Yeah, I mean, it may just be the style. Maybe it's like the affront from E.M. Banks.
Oh, right.
He seems
yes.
like an affronter.
Yes, he would fit right in.
Okay. So this is a new what's it called? A new
Scene.
section. Yeah. Even the assassination attempts were getting boring. The list of people who wanted Xoxer dead was fairly lengthy, but those capable of getting past Xoxer's very elaborate security measures were few in number. Nobody even got close. After all, at least Xoxer imposed order. He had a piece of every significant business transaction, legal and illegal, on Itrahod, and he also stemmed the tide of chaos. If he died, Itrahod would be in even worse shape.
Xoxer's slave market was open for business. He was sizing up prospective replacements for Dokja. However, an off-world idiot had made an attempt on his life under the guise of showing off a piece of merchandise. The security system and the pulse cannons had proved their worth instantly.
I sort of expected that to be a Crichton.
Yes.
An off-world idiot. Next, Xoxer said with his upper mouth while stuffing marjules, lovely Hynerian marjules, into his lower mouth. His security team set about clearing up the mess.
A brunette Sebastian woman entered, dragging a Nabari girl into the common room via a chain that was attached to both her neck and wrists. "I heard you were looking for a slave," the Sebastian said without preamble.
Xoxer liked that. None of the obsequious nonsense that so many felt the need to waste time on before getting down to business. "I've never had a Nabari before."
The Nabari tilted her head to the side. "Oh, really?"
No, I know that head tilt.
Her voice was a melodious purr that made Xoxer's boils quiver. She moved closer to Xoxer. "Then you haven't lived."
"Silence, slave," the Sebastian said, yanking the chain. "The Nabari flipping the page on my little device here is not quite as...
The story's going to go on for a while.
The
damn.
Nabari stumbled and fell to the floor. Yeah, good value, this magazine.
Yeah.
Thanks again, Metatron. A small cut marred her silvery skin. The Sebastian seemed unconcerned about injuring a slave being sold for physical pleasure.
Xoxer turned his gaze upon the seller. The arrogance, the bluntness, the complete lack of care for the merchandise. She was no slave owner. She was a peacekeeper trying to pass herself off as a slave owner. "I'll take her."
He's clever. The Sebastian nodded. "Excellent. How much will you pay?"
Signaling two of his guards with his upper right arm, Xoxer said, "I said take, not buy."
"I beg your..." Before the Sebastian could finish, Xoxer's guards wrapped their tentacles around her.
"Take her to the cell with the prisoners, masters."
Stars waddled forward. "Yes, great Xoxer." Wait, okay, so you gave Xoxer Mr.
Sorry,
Ars.
my bad.
No,
Yeah,
okay, now
my bad.
I'll pick a new voice from Mr. Ars.
No.
That'll be nice. Yes, great Xoxer. Have fun speaking Scottish now.
Oh God, my Scottish is terrible.
No, but it's Xoxer that's speaking now, so
Right,
you're all right.
Send the message to the peacekeepers. As he spoke, Xoxer noticed the Nabari, now separated from the Sebastian, slowly trying to move off. "Tell them that I don't like the officers sneaking in, and tell them to work on their disguises. This one had Peacekeeper Commando written all over her." He grabbed the slack chain. "And take this one," he added, "and put her in new clothes. She's to be my new slave."
The Nabari smiled. "What's your name?" Okay.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was like Chiana going there. She settled closer to Xoxer. "Chiana."
Mr. Ars will give you the specifics. Please me and live. Displease me and die.
"Sounds reasonable," Chiana said with a nod. She ran one finger around one of Xoxer's tails. In a low whisper, she said,
Tails?
"I'll have to do everything I can to please you then, Xoxy."
Xoxy, that's adorable. Xoxer smiled with both mouths. This girl was probably a prisoner of the peacekeepers, taken during one of the many skirmishes they'd been having with the Nabari lately. No doubt she saw this as a better opportunity. Hey, do you think that this is before Nerve? Because that's where Chiana sort of pretended to be Crichton's a servicer, off-reg servicer.
Ooh, it's either that or what's that episode? Oh, yeah, no, Nerve was later because I'm thinking about the episode on the lawyer planet.
No, that was later. Like Nerve was 18 or 19,
okay,
19, I think.
Yeah,
and Chiana was only introduced in 15 of season 1.
Right, so that was very close in. Yeah, but it's probably around then.
Yeah,
they probably got the routine down by that point.
Yeah. Go with my stars. We'll talk about how you can please me later.
Ugh. Chiana was massaging Xoxer's boils when the alarm went off. Xoxer summoned the 2 neuters with one arm while activating the security imager with another. Isn't that a Luxon? Chiana asked as the image of one appeared on a holographic projector, presently plowing through the 2 of Xoxer's guards with one of those devastating coulter blades.
Not just a Luxon, Xoxer said as the neuters entered. A valuable one. To the neuters, he said, take her to her room. As Chiana got up from her cushions, Xoxer added, I like you, Chiana. I hope you're not thinking of suicide.
Chiana smiled sweetly. Now, Xoxy, why would I do a silly thing like that when I've still got a few boils to massage?
Laughing with his lower mouth, Xoxer said with the upper one, good, go. I'm doing this thing where when he speaks with his upper mouth, I push against my lower lip.
Right, yeah.
Let's see if that's at all tolerable for anyone.
After the neuters led Chiana away, Xoxer watched her as Cardargo, a victim of the standard Luxon belief that there was no problem that couldn't be solved by a frontal assault, fought his way through Xoxer's guards before finally being overwhelmed by the superior numbers.
Running a hand over a sensor, Xoxer said, bring the Luxon to me.
Within microts, 2 guards came in, bracketing the Luxon, their tentacles wrapped around his arms, restraining him. His tunic was ripped, and he had several lacerations about his head and arms. The blood around those cuts was dark.
Ooh, that's bad news.
Yes.
So we've got a tentacle fight, because he's got tentas too.
Oh, yes.
You really thought you could rescue your friends, Cardargo?
Did they get tetanus, then?
Okay.
Yeah.
I like that joke.
Thank you.
Okay.
Your line or mine?
No, it's yours, bud.
Sorry.
And I'll leave it to you to figure out which one it is, because the listeners at home know.
Well, I read that one, so I had to try. I would not expect you to... Oh, sorry, I had to,
That's
do
Dargo,
a
that's
Dargo
Dargo.
voice, I had to try. I would not expect you to understand.
I don't. This is going to be a grunt.
Well, no, yes.
Oh, no, but Dargo has a more sort of American... I had to try.
No,
I would not expect you to understand.
That's normally how I do John, but yeah. All right.
But John talks like this. No, you do John like he's some kind of old-timey prospector. That's how you do John.
No, that's
Speaking
right.
through one tooth and lots of really outdated opinions about certain groups of people. Okay.
Right.
Okay, I don't speak through... I don't, but I salute you. Armies have attacked this stronghold and never gotten as far as you.
I do not wish your salute, Dargo said with a snarl.
It's all
over the place, yeah.
Put in with the others, said Xoxer.
Great Xoxer, Mustar said quickly.
No, we agreed that he'd be Scottish from now on. Sorry, bud.
Great Xoxer. No, that's not Scottish either. I can't do Scottish.
Yeah,
Mustar said quietly.
Great Scott.
Great Xoxer, Mustar
Yes.
said quietly. I would recommend taking him to the infirmary first. His blood's running black. He runs the danger of dying.
Yeah.
I would be just like that peacekeeper to withhold the bounty if his merchandising is damaged.
You make me so happy, Kay. Xoxer nodded to the guards. They dragged Dargo in the direction of the infirmary.
Tell the peacekeepers we have all 3 now.
Right away, great Xoxer.
And bring Chiana back. My boils itch.
Oh.
Here.
That's how we're going to separate the
Yes,
scenes.
Scooby-Doo.
As soon as Xoxer's meeting with Minister Repnek ended, Stars entered.
Did the meeting go well, great Xoxer? Stars asked as he handed Xoxer a pile of grubs.
Yes, the tariff cut will pass, Xoxer said as he poured the grubs into his lower mouth.
That is excellent news, great Xoxer. I did not wish to interrupt your meeting, but a peacekeeper has arrived. He is called Captain Hahan. He is sent hither to claim the bounty.
Good, send him in.
Stars bowed. Of course, great Xoxer.
Christ, I'm up again.
Yeah.
And get Gianna back in here.
Of course, great Xoxerk. Another part of the wall dissolved. My stars gave a signal, and one of the guards let a Sebastian in. This one was a male, wearing a captain's uniform of a slightly different design than the one worn by Crace in the beacon.
Oh.
The scan revealed only a standard issue Peacekeeper pistol.
I bet you this is Crichton.
Yeah,
and he's going to introduce himself as Han Solo. Yeah, what do you think?
I'll take that one. Yeah.
All right. You must... nope, old-timey prospector. You said it. You must be Sockgerg.
Yes, Kroxak said.
You're even more repugnant than I'd heard.
Xoxerk laughed. And you're even more blunt than most Peacekeepers.
He spat into the spittoon. No, I made that up. Sorry, Mr.
Kaki, don't you dare. You know his name is...
Salvatore. I don't have time for idiotic pleasantries. Unlike the sheep that populate this world of yours, I don't need to bow and scrape to you. I'm here to collect my prisoners. Bring them to me.
First, we talk terms.
Han smiled unpleasantly. No, first I see the prisoners to make sure this isn't some kind of elaborate trick on your part.
Xoxerk laughed out with both mouths. I like you, Peacekeeper, and I like your approach better than the woman's.
The captain stared at Zockgergs. What woman's?
After running a hand over one of his sensors on his desk, a holographic projection of the cell appeared. The Peacekeeper Commando was giving the other prisoner a wide berth. The Delvian was treating the Luxon's wound, though his blood was now running clear. At least now he was in no danger of dying, poisoned by the toxins in his blood.
I've never seen that woman before in my life.
Xoxerk's mouths both frowned.
What?
She
Your mouth frowned. His can do it. He's got a great mouth.
She isn't one of yours.
Well, she might be, but... wait a minute. Han looked up, as if trying to recall something. Oh, yes, of course, I have seen her before. She's a commando in Crace's old Plazar regiment. Can't remember her name offhand, but as I recall, she was involved in some kind of scandal. She was probably trying to take my collar to getting good with command. I'm starting to wonder whether maybe this is Crichton, or whether maybe Commander Han is a different...
maybe. I still think it's Crichton trying to play off the.
Let's find out.
Xoxerk's translator microbe must have had trouble with some bit of slang. Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does the top of your shirt have to do with?
Yeah, no, definitely. My arrest, Han said impatiently. Look, I want to see the prisoners. I don't care about the commando, but the other three are mine.
I guess you're going to be right with your Han Solo, by the way, but yeah.
Oh.
The wall melted, and another guard let Shiana in. Han gave her an appreciative look. A Nabari slave, eh? Very exotic. Don't get many of those greyskins out this way.
See.
How much would you get her for?
Super racist.
Yeah.
She was a steal, Zockgerg said. We talk about her and my bounty after you've checked out the merchandise.
Good. Han followed the guards out of the chamber.
Boyle's acting up again, Xoxy? Gianna asked.
Not as much, but don't let that stop you. As Gianna moved around behind him, Xoxerk looked at the projection of the cell. The Delvian had finished traiting the Luxon, and both of them were glaring at the Peacekeeper woman.
It took him a moment to realize who was missing. Where's the Hynerian? Where's the Hynerian? He bellowed with both mouths. Yeah, it's tricky.
I know.
Shaking violently enough to knock Gianna off the cushions and onto the floor. He really is a hut. With one hand, he pressed the alarm. With another, the intercom. With the third, he poured some Raslak down his lower mouth. And with a fourth, he activated the force field around his office. God.
Alarms rang, guards scurried, and Xoxerk drank more Raslak. From the moment the alarm started ringing, the Luxon and the Delvian exchanged concerned glances. The Peacekeeper woman didn't seem to care.
Report immediately, Xockgerg bellowed.
Several guards replied with variations on nothing to report or still looking. Job done.
We ain't found shit!
Get on with it.
Okay, so do you know in Spaceballs, that guy who says, we ain't found shit?
Yes.
That's Tuvok from Voyager?
Yes.
I was 40 when I found that out. I've had the good pleasure of actually directing Tim Russ in a small voice thing, and I didn't know that. God. Okay, where are we?
Still looking.
Report, nothing to report, still looking. Yes. Then Han's face showed up on one of the projection. "I've got him." The captain was holding the Hynerian by his thick neck. With the other hand, he held up some thin piece of metal. "He had these on him. So nice to see your people did a proper search of his person," he said with an acid tone.
"Let go of me, you yacht!" the Hynerian spluttered. "I am Domina Rigel the 16th, and I demand..."
"You're in exile, little trog, and prisoner the peacekeepers."
All Xoxek's stomachs rumbled. The Hynerian should have been better searched. "He is not your prisoner yet. Have the guards put him back."
"Fine. I'll hang on to these." Han handed Rigel to one of the guards who had just arrived. He wrapped his tentacle... Oh, he is the guard. He wrapped his tentacle around the Hynerian's stomach and took him back to his cell. Han, meanwhile, looked passive. "I assume that you confiscated the personal items of all the prisoners?"
"Yes."
"I wish to see them as well."
"Take him," Xoxek said to the guard. Xoxek had the security cameras follow Han to the storage room, where the guards had put the Luxon's sword, the Peacekeeper's pistol, the Hynerian's throne sled, and the Delvian's pouch full of herbs.
Oh. Chiana, meanwhile, went back to massaging Xogerg's boils, which relaxed him right away. "She does this even better than Doktai," he thought through a haze of pleasure.
Most of his eyes closed as he relaxed, but he kept one open to watch Captain Han. The prisoner's personal effects were on a shelf in the storage room. Han inspected each one, then placed the Hynerian's lockpicks in the center.
Suddenly, an electrical charge linked the Luxon blade, the lockpicks, and the Peacekeeper pistol.
Then the screen went dark. So did the lights in Xoxerg's office, and every panel on his desk. "What the frell is happening?" he cried with both mouths.
Silence greeted his cry. None of his communication systems seemed to be functioning, nor any other system. Even the emergency lights wouldn't come on, and since both suns were setting, only minimal light was visible through the window.
Chiana came around from behind him. Her silvery skin looked even more beautiful in the half-light. "Chiana, I've got to..."
Before he could finish speaking, Chiana poured the Raslak into one of the nostrils on his torso. As Xogerg struggled to breathe, Chiana leaped on top of his thorax. Her knees dug into the flesh over his larynx.
Xoxerg tried to speak, but couldn't. Chiana grabbed a knife from the table and sliced into several of his boils. "I stopped being a slave a long time ago, Xoxy."
Xoxerg's vision faded to black for the final time. His last thought was, "And she had been such a good slave." Hey, fuck you, Xogerg. Yeah. I love Chiana as the sort of hut slayer here.
Yeah, it's like doing a Leia there.
Yeah. We're, who is it speaking?
John.
Oh, yeah. "We're clear of Ytrahod's atmosphere, pilot. We ought to be in range of the docking web in a quarter of an hour."
"Very well, Commander Crichton. Moya will be ready to starburst as soon as you arrive. Well, we did try to block Xoxek's transmissions to the Peacekeepers. It is possible that one made it through to Scorpius Command Carrier, or another Peacekeeper base on ship. We would do well to stay away from here as fast as possible."
You've made pilot Scottish?
Oh, yeah, shit, I was doing... Yeah, no, never mind. Yeah. Sorry, I still had my brain on Scottish.
I love it. Pilot has like a Scottish, like Jeeves and Worcester, whichever one's the butler one.
Jeeves.
Of course it's Jeeves.
Yeah.
I've had a little bit of Raslak myself.
Oh.
It's been a long day. Understood, pilot. And hey, good flying there, Aaron.
Thank you, Crichton. Or I should say, Captain Han. Your impersonation of a peacekeeper was almost credible.
Gee, thanks. Of course, I had to do a little extra dancing thanks to Buckwheat here. You were supposed to follow the plan, Rigel.
I was never consulted on this plan. Besides, when Aaron brought back the lockpicks, I assumed it was so I could escape.
Would that be before or after I explained that you were supposed to let Crichton find them on... Okay. No, sorry, that was Aaron. Would that be before or after I explained that you were supposed to let Crichton find them on you when he inspected the cell?
I thought it was a bad plan, Aaron, so I improvised a new one.
Your new plan might have gotten us killed. Crichton's plan was frelled enough.
Gee, thanks for the vote of confidence, Dargo.
Shit, that was Dargo.
Yeah, it worked, didn't it?
Barely.
The Luxon's right. My throne sled still doesn't work.
We'll fix it on the ship, Sparky. That little gadget I put together gave off an electromagnetic pulse. Yeehaw, an electromagnetic pulse! It shut down all the electronics in Zuckerberg's HQ, including your little toy. Zan, I think.
It was a very clever idea, John, to smuggle in the device in a separate pieces like that to avoid detection by security.
Yeah, it is, Zan. Look, only way to do it, Zan. See, there you go.
Yep.
I'm just glad it worked out when I put them together. Speaking of following the plan, Pip, you already were free from Zuckerberg when we got to you. How'd you do that?
Oh, it was easy. I just brought him to a boil. Yes.
Oh, like there's a little sort of PS here.
Yep.
Keith R.A. DeCandido is the author of the Farscape novel House of Cards. Okay, I guess we know what's probably on the docket next time that we have a little bit left over from our fantastic Patreon supporters, and have a little glance at eBay, as well as novels, short stories, comic books, and ebooks in the worlds of Star Trek, Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Doctor Who, Marvel Comics, and much more. Find out less than you ever wanted to know about him at his official website at decandido.net. Oh.
Wow, this was like a good read.
That was a fantastic story. Thank you so much, Mr. DeCandido. Hey, so next week we're continuing with The Greatest Hiatus, because after episode 306, Eat Me, there was quite a long wait. During which this here magazine was published, but in order to simulate the experience of anticipating the continuance of season 3, we're going to have ourselves a little Greatest Hiatus where we're examining something else. And Kay, when we look through the list of properties that had fish out of water science fiction stories, or wonderful creatures, or Henson creations, something caught your eye. And what was that?
Well, it's not going to be Henson, but there were a lot of fantastic creations. A lot of beautiful scene and studio work in the 1984 science fantasy movie Krull.
Krull by Peter Yates. So if you can grab a copy of that somewhere, treat yourselves. It's
worth a watch.
Yes, definitely. I wouldn't necessarily say it's great. I won't say it's awful, because that would be spoiling. I know that I've seen it as a child, and not for many decades after. So I'm very excited for that.
And that's the story so far, Farscape.
Thank you for joining us in Tales of the Uncharted Territories, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
I'm Kay.
I'm Kaki. I did the thing.
Sorry, we got that wrong.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
It's fine.
Sorry, yes. Bye-bye. Never mind.